We thought a camping trip in northern Ontario's wilderness would be fun. The six of us, Tom, Liz, Sarah, Mike, Danny, and I, had been friends since high school. On the first night, we gathered around a campfire, sharing ghost stories. Tom, ever the prankster, told us about the Wendigo, a malevolent spirit from Algonquin legend that turns humans into insatiable cannibals. We laughed it off, but the dense forest around us seemed to whisper warnings. The second night, strange calls began. They were distant at first, echoing through the trees, long, mournful howls that sent chills down my spine. Probably wolves, Mike said, but he sounded uneasy. We huddled closer to the fire, the shadows dancing menacingly on the trees. By the third night, the howls were closer. Tom and Danny decided to investigate, despite our protests. They grabbed flashlights and headed into the darkness, leaving us by the fire. Hours passed. We called out for them, but the forest swallowed our voices. When they finally returned, something was off. Their eyes were wild, their clothes torn. We didn't see anything, Tom said shakily. Danny just nodded, staring into the fire as if he could see something we couldn't. We exchanged worried glances but said nothing. The fourth night, Liz went missing. She'd gone to collect firewood and never came back. Panic set in. We searched the forest, calling her name until our voices were hoarse. There was no trace of her. Tom and Danny grew more erratic. They whispered to each other in hushed tones, casting paranoid glances our way. It felt like they were hiding something, but fear kept us silent. On the fifth night, the howls turned into screams, agonizing, human screams that echoed in our ears long after they faded. We were terrified, huddled together in the tent, clutching each other. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. The next morning, Mike was gone. His sleeping bag lay empty, the zipper torn open as if he'd been dragged out. Tom and Danny insisted we move camp, but their eyes gleamed with something sinister. I realized then, too late, that they were no longer my friends. They were something else, something hungry. That night, Sarah and I stayed awake, listening to the howls. We planned to leave at first light, but they attacked before dawn. Tom and Danny, or whatever they'd become, came for us with an insatiable hunger in their eyes. We fought, but it was no use. I managed to escape, running blindly through the forest, the screams of my friends echoing behind me. I stumbled upon a ranger's cabin at dawn, exhausted and delirious. The rangers found me raving about the Wendigo. They never found my friends. Sometimes, late at night, I hear those mournful calls, and I know they're still out there, hunting. And I know one day, they'll come for me too.